these artists are actually demonic, and they're trying to take down the youth, and they're trying to take down the new generations with music.
What's poppin'?
That was the first thing we ever spoke about.
That's the first thing you told me.
Ever.
Hi, I'm Thomas and I'm scared of cows.
So we were on an episode of Impact at 9:30 every Tuesday.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were on a
Plug.
we were doing, that was the first time we met. We got into, I got invited on to Impact and everything. And then while we were doing the test, we were just doing mic tests and all that. And then I said, you just came up, we always talk about cows, always, man. And then I said, no, I'm scared of cows. Well, you know, I used to be scared of cows. Well, how are you scared of cows? That's your voice.
Is that what I sound like?
Yeah, you do. And I said, man, when I was a little kid, I used to, you know, it would be nighttime. You know how people are scared of like monsters and demons and all these things when they're little kids and you imagine them. I was scared of cows. So, you know, it's crazy. I would walk in the kitchen, get a cup of water, and then I'd think, what if there was a cow right behind me, chasing me right now?
And you know what? That would make sense if you lived on a farm. But did you live on a farm?
I live on a mountain. There's no cows. There's wild boars. There's no... But I remember running upstairs and imagining there's a cow behind me running up the stairs. So now every time I see a cow, like there's this shop here in Spain, and there's like, you got this.
Yes,
this
Alihop.
Yeah, Alihop.
The fake cows outside.
And there's always a cow. And every time I see it, I'd send you a photo, don't I? And I say, I'm scared.
And
always
there's a TV show called Young Sheldon that I'm into watching. And at the beginning, because he lives in Texas, so it makes sense, there's a cow at the beginning of it. So every time I watch Young Sheldon, I think of Thomas. I'm like, look, there's a cow.
It's crazy, man.
Anyway.
But it's crazy.
Well, you talked about demons and you talked about being scared about stuff. And today we are kind of looking at quite a heavy topic, I think. When I was looking into some of the stuff we're going to be talking about, we are looking at kind of demons and the music industry. And we're kind of asking the question, is the music industry demonic? And we're going to be talking about certain artists that are blowing up at the moment and a few other things that are going on. So why don't you kick us off? Because you kind of showed me some stuff and that's what got us thinking about this. So
yeah, so recently... what's been happening, let's give the backstory. What's been happening is like a month ago or so ever, Lil Nas X, the singer of I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road, I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. So that was like a sweet song, innit? Mm. He got so famous, he's become the most famous artist now of the tops, yeah? And, you know, he's dropped some songs and they've been quite controversial. Montero, you know, Call Me By Your Name. Loads of other songs, and he's been going controversial. But lately he dropped a song on TikTok like 2 months ago, and he said something like, this is my first worship song, I'm becoming Christian. We can put it on, check it out. You want to check it out, it's his first worship song. So yeah, it's this one. You don't mind if I enter my Christian era? And he's just singing, free me.
what does it say on his t-shirt?
Yeah, we just saw that.
Yeah. Because I don't quite understand it. And actually, the TV is quite far away and I can't read it from here. So
can one of you guys read it to me? What the t-shirt said? It said, yeah, so the t-shirt said, like, it said something like, yeah, the proof of God, no.
Something about laughing at you.
Yeah. If God doesn't exist, who's laughing at you?
I don't get it.
That is crazy. Like,
does it
you
mean?
do not really... I think
if God doesn't exist, who's laughing at you?
I think that's like, it's just insulting God. It's like saying God's this bully, but at the same time he's saying, you don't mind if I enter my Christian era?
I think we need to rewind because this is something very modern and happening now, but so much has led up to this point of him releasing that. Now, the first video that you showed me, was it Montero? Call me by...
Montero, yeah.
Montero,
yeah.
Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah.
Literally, I heard of Lil Nas X, I heard of his name, I kind of knew a little bit about that song. And then as soon as you showed me, you were like, let's do a podcast talking about him and his music. And I was like, I don't really know much about it. Because if I'm honest, these days I'm not very up to date with modern music. I listen to worship music, if anything, or I'll listen to songs from the 90s or 2000s, show my age now. But I'm not really up to date with modern music. So when you showed me literally the first few clips of him like dancing with the devil and all these really demonic, blaspheming stuff, I'm going to be honest, I was shocked, horrified and pretty disgusted.
Didn't you say, stop showing me it, I'm gonna walk
well, to
off.
be
You
fair-
like walked off. You were like,
Well, I did, because I didn't want to look at it. I didn't want to see it. Like, it made me feel so uncomfortable. And I haven't even brought myself to watch it. Like, even preparing for this and doing the research, I was like, I've watched the J. Christ one, but I could not bring myself to watch it.
yeah, so that's what we're talking about. It's the J. Christ one that's just
Yeah.
come out. So what's happened is he's dropped this worship song and he's saying, I'm going to
So
be
the
a
J.
Christian.
Christ is the worship song. That's what you're saying.
No.
it is.
Okay, so there's this new song, J. Christ.
Yeah.
And that's just come out a few days ago. Like, as we're recording this, maybe 4-5 days ago, he just dropped it.
Right.
Called J. Christ. And this video is meant to be what is the Christian song, you know, his comeback as a Christian artist. But what's happened, right, is that, you know, he's led this up. Why has he come back as a Christian artist? It's because he's led this up with this first one that we've just seen, this worship song he's just dropped, where he says, if God is real or something, laughing at you. But so everyone's like, what is going on? It's this weird mixture, which is, I'm a Christian artist and coming with Christianity. The lyrics of that song are quite good. It's free me from this depression, free me from the pain, all this thing. He's actually even admitting, free me from me feeling guilty all the time. And so you're like, whoa, this may be a start of something new, right? And so after this song, you know, it went all over the media, Christian media mostly. You know, you had Ruslan KD speaking about it, all these people. And then he started dropping more things like kind of Christian, because they were Christian, but then weird other things, just posts on his Twitter, his TikTok. And, you know, he's been promoting. So people have been waiting for this for about a month or two now. And he finally dropped the song, J. Christ. I'm watching it. I'm ready. Press play. It looks good at the start until you see the crazy, like, if you thought Montero was blasphemous or, you know, demonic, this one is next level. Mm-hmm. Because you just see there are crazy things. He's in heaven walking with a word, you know, with like this weird thing on his head that says the word, you know, sex and just random things that, you know, then him going down, you know, to nether, just brewing humans and all these weird things.
He's on a cross. He's actually crucified onto a cross.
If you look at the cross, it's him upside down.
Starts off upside down, yeah, then flips. And there's also a bit where he's like there stroking a lamb, as in like Jesus is our shepherd and the lamb of the world and things. And it's absolutely, I just think he doesn't realise maybe he realises like he's getting attention and what he's doing. But that deep spiritual side of this, of blaspheming, is like, I don't think he understands how bad this is.
Do you think he doesn't realise, or do you think he knows what he's doing? And do you think there's a whole thing behind, there's a whole movement behind this where these artists are actually demonic and they're trying to take down the youth and they're trying to take down the new generations with music? And what they're doing now is they're confusing, and I believe this is on purpose. This is because he's trying to confuse people. You got Christians who, when I was younger, I was this exact Christian. I'm a young, you know, 14, 15, and I was searching for someone, and this guy's cool. He is cool. He's the coolest guy. He's on the top, right? And he's there just saying, oh, I'm Christian, you know, oh, Jesus. So what does he do? He gets people who are half confused, who don't know, who are like, oh, what's the difference? And then he's like, bam, throws it crazy. It just goes mental.
I think there's also, it goes into his childhood, because I was looking at, like I say, I was doing some research into this because I didn't 100% know what was going on. And it says, the notes that I looked at, it said, the day after Lil Nas X released the music video, this is talking about Call Me By Your Name, he responded to the backlash over its rebellious religious imagery, and he wrote on Twitter, I spent my entire teenage years hating myself because of the stuff y'all all were preaching to me because of his sexuality. So, and it says, so I hope you are mad, stay mad, feel the same anger you teach us to have toward ourselves. So I think this is a deep-rooted issue that when he was young, he clearly has had some bad experience with the church, some bad experience with Christians. He felt pressured to be someone who he's not, and therefore is now become rebellious in his older years. There's probably is an agenda within a lot of the music industry. And we know even Shane Lynch from Boyzone has talked about the fact that what they say, records have been prayed over, and there's been rituals and stuff that's been prayed over some music. So there definitely is a spiritual element into this, but it just goes to show that as Christians, we need to be so careful with how we treat one another and not to judge one another, but to still love one another. Yes, if someone is living in sin, humbly, we need to point it out into their life. And that's what the Bible says. In Romans, it says, you therefore have no excuse, you who pass judgment on someone else. For at whatever point you judge another, you are condemning yourself, because you who pass judgment do the same things. Now we know that God's judgment against those who do such things is based on truth. So when you, a mere human, base judgment on them and yet do the same things, do you think you will escape God's judgment? And what Paul is talking about in Romans, that's chapter 2, verses 1 to 3, is basically saying we all sin. We all do bad stuff. We might not do the same sins. We might not have the same lifestyles, but we all sin and we all need Jesus. And only he is the one that saves us.
Yeah.
And nobody is good enough to save themselves. We all need
Amen.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I like that point because, you know, you can see I'm getting annoyed with Lil Nas X, but you're right. What if, you know, it's us. Sometimes it can be the Christians, the Pharisees, the law, the throwing someone down, because you never know. You can see he's hurt. He also seems, when you see him talk, he seems like a nice guy.
That's what I thought.
He does seem like a nice guy. But at the same time, then you see him he looks, that's where you notice, I feel like, if someone, who they really are, is when they're different on stage and on their, you know, they tend to be, in this case, he seems to be really outgoing on stage and on his music videos. He's this rebellious, cool person. And then you just, you know, he goes into this nice person that we're going to see now. We have this apology video.
Hello, everybody. I wanted to not necessarily apologize, but I wanted to explain like where my head at and where it's been for like the last week. So first of all, when I did the artwork, I knew like there would be some upset people or whatnot, simply because, you know, religion is a very sensitive topic for a lot of people. But I also didn't mean to like mock. This wasn't like it was not that. It was literally me saying, oh, I'm back like Jesus. Like that was like the whole thing. I'm not the first person to dress up as Jesus. And I will say though, with the communion video, with me eating the crackers and juice, I thought that video was gonna be the video to lighten the mood, me eating the communion, which is like the symbolism of like Jesus's blood and bones or something like that. I don't remember completely, but I did not mean it to as like a cannibalism thing or whatever the freak. I do apologize for that. I will say I am sorry for that. That I don't agree with all of Christianity's rules or whatnot. I know not everybody follows Christianity by the book 100%, or, you know, the world would be a lot crazier. I'm not trying to diss Christianity.
Do you know, two things that really shocked me about that apology video? Firstly, he said, the video with the communion, with the crackers and the juice, I was trying to lighten the mood. I'm like, sorry, like I said earlier, I really don't think he realised the depth of spiritual damage that he's doing. It's not just oh yeah, we'll just lighten the mood, we can all laugh about this and shake it off. Like, he is condemning himself. The Bible says not to blaspheme, not to try. And blasphemy is all about trying to be like Jesus. Even Jesus himself was crucified because they accused him of blasphemy, because he said me and the God are one. So trying to be God or trying to be Jesus, that's what blasphemy is. And there's consequences to that. So the fact that he's just trying to lighten the mood like this is just some little problem, and the fact that he doesn't even understand what communion is, when he couldn't even fully explain it. It was like, oh, something to do with Jesus's blood and bones. And so he's trying to like get on the side of Christians and be like, look, I didn't mean this to be a mockery. I think that video itself is a mockery, because he's trying to lighten the mood by doing something he doesn't even fully understand.
So you see, he knows what he's doing. You can tell by his apology, he knows. It
wasn't even an apology. He said, I'm not necessarily apologising.
And then goes and apologises in some cases. He's like, but I apologise about that, but it's not an apology. But but I was trying to lighten the mood. When someone says, I'm sorry, but, you know, it's not sorry. Man. It's not sorry.
Definitely not.
But again, it goes back to, you know, he may have been hurt when he was younger. And so I think all we can do is pray for him. You know,
for sure. We
can fight by the sword and get mad at him, and then he's going to get more annoyed and then try and hurt the Christians even more and come with and he's going to keep doing it. Or we can just show him love, which is what Jesus did. You know, Jesus didn't throw the stones. He prayed, he healed the people who didn't deserve it. He got a tax collector, you know, Matthew and all these. He actually he did the opposite of what you could expect, right? And that I think is what we should do, is do the opposite of what we expected to do, which is pray for people, love them. And this is real love, which is loving someone so much that you can tell them they're wrong, but it's not in a way of you're doing wrong. It's look, you just
Come alongside them, help them.
You're gonna hurt yourself, man. You're gonna hurt yourself. And that's the thing about Christianity, is that I think a lot of people talk Christianity as if it was this, God has called me to tell you this, but I think, look, I don't know, I don't want to say this, it's me talking, but I feel like God gave me this revelation, and I love to explain it like this. For me, Christianity is like, you imagine you have a debt, right? Mm-hmm. But my best friend is a billionaire, and my best friend has told me to tell you that he can pay your debt. My best friend wants to pay your debt. What am I going to do? I'm going to tell you all about my best friend. And I don't want, and you're gonna be like, oh, my debt is bringing me down. And so, it's like, I'm gonna be telling you, please listen to me. My friend wants to pay. You can say, oh, you hate me, whatever. No, this is true. My friend can pay your debt. Please listen to me. I'm just gonna tell you because I have my best friend who can pay your debt. And that's the same thing. Jesus is our best friend, and he's paid our debt, and he wants to pay the debt, and he has paid the debt. They just have to receive it, of everyone in the world. He's paid Lil Nas's debt. He's paid everyone's debt to the worst person you can imagine.
And that goes back to the point of, you've got to be careful how you tell them. If you do it in a judgmental way, in a harsh, strict way, and you have to do this, Jesus will love you if you do this, do that, that can put people off. Or you have to go to church every Sunday, you can't live that way, you can't do that. Exactly. Jesus Come as you are, that's what Jesus said.
Yeah, Jesus did not say, you have to do this. He did not say that, man.
Yeah, come as you are, and then Jesus will transform you once you accept him into your life.
What type of doctors are you going to go to where you have to be healed first, man? Let me shower before I get into the shower. It's crazy.
The point as well that Lil Nas X not only does music videos that are controversial, he not only posts on social media that's controversial, he designed these shoes called Satan shoes, which feature in the music video. In 2021, he partnered with a New York-based collective called MSCHF to release a modified pair of Nike Air Max 97s called Satan shoes. Now, Nike had nothing to do with this, and they've put it out there that they weren't involved in this.
Are you sure?
Well,
are you sure?
Do you believe what? Why? What?
I don't know.
Oh, it's just stirring the pot. Yeah. They're basically black and white shoes with black and red shoes with a bronze pentagram, an air bubble sole which contains 60 cubic centimeters of red ink and 1 drop of human blood. There's actual human blood in these shoes. Believe it or not, there were 666 pairs made, and they were all priced at $1,018, which references to the Bible passage Luke 10:18 that reads, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. So the fact that he's going, can I have my Christian era? Can I apologize for this? This is a big build-up of all these different things that he's done. And yes, Jesus will forgive anyone. And if he actually repents and confesses and honestly repents of his sins and wants to have a life with Jesus, then Jesus will forgive anyone. But it's just hard to trust him when all these things have happened, all this demonic stuff is happening. And even in his apologize video, he's still making a mockery of what communion is and how important that is.
The thing is, look, I understand because, I do social media, I do all the marketing. I know sometimes you have to stir something up, right? And you've got to be a bit controversial. This has not been, he has a point. He's not the only one doing this. He did say that. There's a lot of people doing it. There's a lot of people who have done it, right? Mm-hmm. You've had Kanye West. You've had Jason Derulo. You've had who else? Kendrick
Jason
Lamar.
Derulo is very new. Can we touch on that? If you're going to bring up Jason Derulo, I've listened to him quite a lot of my life, and I am going to confess and admit I am a fan of Jason Derulo.
Favorite song?
Even though
favorite song,
the first one that comes to head is What You Say, because it's like old school.
Which one was that?
Look, you can tell the age difference because you're probably thinking.
I love Trumpets, man. That was sweet.
Yeah.
That was cool.
He's got
The
some good music,
trumpets.
and I've seen him live. And what I love about performers are when they dance and sing at the same time and put on a show, and that's exactly what he did. Yes, his lyrics a lot of the time are very sexualized about girls, and it's probably not the best thing for Christians to be listening to. And like I say, these days I'm more listening to worship music than I am mainstream music. But I was on Instagram the other day and I was scrolling and I came across his Instagram and his new album entitled New King. This is his album cover for it. And I thought to myself, Jason, not you as well. Because look, he's got that crown of thorns on his head.
Not you, Derulo.
Not you, Derulo.
No.
I was like, so now I've got to stop listening to his music too.
Can't believe him.
A lot of
Told
people,
him.
obviously, if you told him, introduce me. A lot of people have been commenting, obviously, a lot of people saying that now he's mocking Jesus. A lot of others are saying, no, but he's a Christian. There's a lot defending him. And to what I've seen, obviously, I haven't read every single comment, but he has only responded, or whoever manages his social media, have only responded to the ones who are asking about the actual album itself, about music and whatnot. Anything else about whether he's Christian or not, or mocking or not, or scriptures, like in Galatians, it says God will not be mocked and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. He hasn't responded to, so
But look,
it's interesting.
This is the crazy thing, and again, it goes back to all the marketing, right? I'm in the music industry, right, as one way and all that, and I've got friends who are, I've had to contact all of them. I made friends with them, and there are some of them who, as Christians, they will post random things which are, again, not demonic, but they're controversial, and they always go, it's always that rebellious thing that people like. Eminem did it, rebellious, he got famous. So what people are going to do is they're going to be rebellious, and they're expecting the reactions that you're giving, we're all giving. We're expecting these reactions. We're giving them promotion right now.
True.
And so, again, I think it goes back to, let's just pray for them. Let's just hope. And on the other side, when the darkness rises up, there's also light rising up. And there's a lot of Christian... What is happening right now in the Christian world, like the Christian media, the Christian industry, is that you're having movies come out, you're having music go more mainstream. There's been songs played on radios, Christian songs. I've had friends who have been getting on the radio, and so you're also seeing this, which is a good thing too. We're getting the music. So, but yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. It's really annoying when you see, because they get all the fame, man. They get all the fame. They get it all. And they're just doing crazy.
This is what the devil
things,
wants,
man.
obviously. Like, he is a deceptor, he's a distractor. And of course, I mean, you hear as Christians, a lot of the time you hear the point that the devil was like the leader of worship when he was in heaven. When he was Lucifer before the fall, he was the leader of music. And actually, I was trying to look up a Bible verse that confirms that. And there wasn't actually one that actually states that. So maybe that's something, if you want to look into, have a study on that. But regardless, we know the angels praise God, and we know that music is such an influential thing that the devil can use people through music to entice and influence others. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my brother used to listen to this garage group called the So Solid Crew, and they had a song called 21 Seconds, and he would play it all the time. So as a kid, I was just in my bedroom hearing it all the time. So I would just sing along, not really thinking about what I was singing. I was just singing it. And then it wasn't only a couple of years ago, actually, when I came to Revelation TV, and I was just singing it out loud. It was just in my head. And one of the guys here went, "Do you realise what you just said?" I was like, "What?" And I said it again. And the lyrics was, "Worship the devil." Actually, it was "Raise the dead, worship the devil, red is my best colour." And I thought, I've been singing that pretty much all my life, not having a clue what I was singing. And that's the influence that music can have. Beats can be so catchy, words can be so catchy that you're just singing it along, it gets stuck in your head.
You got the Doja Cat's new one. See you down.
That's
one.
catchy.
It's catchy.
Yeah,
Man,
it's annoying.
I was with my friends in the shopping centre, and I'm not kidding, it went on for a few seconds, and we went, "Oh no, it's that song," because we were literally talking about that song. We were like, "Oh no, it's that one." Man, we all came out of the shopping centre singing the same song because it's stuck in your head. Man, it's crazy. How music manipulates you is incredible. Right? It's crazy. You see in the Bible, it talks about how powerful music was. I was listening to a podcast by Gregory Dicko, which is a pastor, and he was saying that, he was talking about David, King David, before he was king, when he was serving Saul, and he was playing the harp. Harp is? Yeah.
Harp, yeah.
And he was playing it. And every time he would play, it would cast out a dark, evil spirit out of Saul every single time. And it was saying that in the Bible. I didn't know it said it like that. And you see, and so, I looked into why is music so like, why was it so powerful in the Bible, but now it seems like it's cool, but it doesn't have these like powers that, this power of casting out spirits and healing, because in the Bible it talks a lot about that. And then I found out, this is interesting, right? Did you know in the Nazis, they changed the frequency that music is played in? So you have what's called the A, the note A, the frequency of it used to be, all of history, 432 hertz, which is the vibrating, the frequency it vibrates at. And they changed it to 440. And so you're like, what does that mean, right? All music after that is in 440 hertz, meaning that everything played in that is in a different frequency to what it used to be. You see that since then, rock and roll came out. After World War II, rock and roll came out. What happened to rock and roll? It's the first music that divides parents and kids from each other. And since then, you have rock and roll, rock, rap, trap, all these styles. What you see is that back in the day, music was more of a uniting thing, and it would actually heal people. The Christian music would actually had the power of healing, because it's a God-given, it's from like God created nature to help us out. It's like foods and all great things. They help us, right? It's in the end, it's like we do not worship the creation. We worship the Creator. But God created it, and God created music to be beneficial. And you see Mozart's music, all this classical music was actually, you see that it actually betters your brain. It helps you study better, focus. It makes you more social. But they changed, that was all in the frequency of 432. After the Nazis changed it to what's called the frequency of the devil, everything changed. And so there's this pastor who talks about it, and he changed his frequencies back to 432. He changed how he tuned his guitar. He said that they were playing music and healing was happening like crazy when he changed the music. And it was incredible. So if that is like as true as it looks, as if that could, that's incredible. That means that music has a lot of power.
Yeah.
And what is it doing to us now if it's the frequency is if it's in a wrong frequency, If you have any opinions about this, please, if you can comment down below your opinions on what you know about this, because it's a really interesting topic that's just coming out because there's not many studies on it. But yeah, about frequencies. We should do a whole nother podcast if you guys want it, about the whole frequencies and all that. But yeah, that's going into the music.
Yeah, music is so powerful. And even worship music, when you're feeling down, when you're feeling low, just put on some worship music. It uplifts your spirit, it uplifts your emotions. And David actually used the Psalms to lament as well. He let out his emotions through music. If he was angry, or if he felt lonely, or if he was happy, like music is an expression of how we feel as well. So I think, what can we do as Christians? Obviously, we need to avoid listening to this kind of music, this demonic music that is going to infiltrate our minds and influence us.
It's difficult.
It is difficult. How do we avoid it? Other than not going out and don't go into any shops.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I have no clue. I couldn't tell you, man. It's crazy. How do you avoid it?
I think, I always give the advice of, if you've got a negative thought, replace it with a positive one. Or if the devil's coming at you with a lie or a doubt, replace it with the truth of God's word. It's kind of the same with music. If you've got a song stuck in your head that's got dodgy lyrics, or you think the music video's not good, and you just can't get it out of your head, like I say, put a worship song on, or start just singing a different song. You don't even have to, if you're out or whatever, just start singing one of your favorite Christian songs. And that will focus your mind, not on the thing that's stuck in your head, but what you're focusing on God then. Because so often there's this myth that we can't control what we're thinking. We can't control what comes into our head, but we can control what we do with it. We can either dwell on it, we can either sing the song out loud and get it really ingrained in our minds, or we can think, no, I'm going to take this thought captive and make it obedient to Christ, like it says in 2 Corinthians, I think. And instead of singing that song demonic true. Or whatever, replace it with a worship song.
I guess, it's like when you know the whole tell me your 5 best friends and I'll tell you who you'll become. I think it's like that with music, with movies, with videos, reels, TikTok, all that. Whatever you allow in your eyes, the Bible talks about whatever you allow your eyes and your ears is what will come out. Whatever's in your, will allow your heart is what your heart becomes. And I think when we listen to music like that, and when we watch movies that are full of whatever, it does change how you're like. And I've noticed that so many times. I noticed that I'm more into, it's like if I'm listening to a lot of rap and watching a lot about, rap, I start dressing up more like that style, and that's cool.
Interesting. Yeah.
But you'd like that when I'm watching a whole nother style and whatever. Like, it's so different. The type of movie I watch then changes how I'm gonna react and dress and all these things. And so I think it's like that. If we, my dad used to always say, and he always says it, is that read the Bible because it rewires your brain. It's rewiring it to see the world in a different perspective,
Amen.
right? Into the right perspective. And in this case, it's the perspective that God sees it, which is the best perspective.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that when I've read the Bible, it's just peace, man. It's peace. When you pray, it's peace. When you just give time to God, it's peace. But it's hard because we are just, man, I don't know. At least, look, it's hard. I have the hardest time sometimes. And I thank God that I get to have to drive like 40 minutes to get here every day because I'm forced to or listen to music, or I can just turn it off and pray and there's no escape. A lot of times it's like I've got to lock myself in a room or I've got to try but when I'm in the car, it's just like talk, pray. So yeah, it just helps you out, man. There's times where I'm so stressed and I'm like, oh man, I hate everything. I hate everything.
Bit dramatic.
Yeah, I hate but then Lord, please help me out, and it's not joking. Like, there's been times where I'm really I'm just like, what is the point of anything? Lord, please help me out. And just like, not even 5 minutes, it's like 1 minute later and I'm like, I can conquer the world again.
Yeah.
I've got this, it's the grace of God and it's amazing, man. It's amazing.
The Bible says that his strength is made perfect in our weakness. When we let go, when we just allow God to fill us, then he will strengthen us, guide us and encourage us.
Yeah, that's true.
Incredible.
That is true.
Well, this has been a full-on podcast. I
First
think we
one.
have learned a lot about the music industry, learned a lot about how influential music is. But as Christians, we know that we can just pray that protection over our minds, over our hearts, over our eyes. And like Thomas said, what we consume is what we become. So if we want to become the best version of ourselves, if we want to become who God created us to be, then we need to listen to the Creator. We need to have conversation with the Creator.
Amen.
Allow him to talk to us through his word, through other people, through prayer, through worship music. And obviously, worship music is to glorify him as well and to thank and praise him for what he's done and what he continues to do.
And then we will talk about in another podcast about what are the different types of worship music and all these things. And we'll talk about the frequencies and anything. So yeah, comment down below if you have any other suggestions of things we should talk about. And if you're liking these podcasts, subscribe or follow or share or whatever you can do, wherever you're watching. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed this What's Poppin' podcast. We'll see you next time.
What's poppin'?
What's poppin'?
What's poppin'?